Okay, hi everybody. My name's Eric Addison, for those of you who don't know me, and I've never done one of these little sessions before, but I just got Camtasia and I figured, you know what, let's give it a shot. There's a couple things in CS6, Premiere Pro, that are new. There's actually a lot of things that are new in it, but there's a few little things that have not gotten talked about just because they're little changes, but they're pretty cool little changes. They're things that I think really help make editing more efficient. And so I'm going to cover a couple of those today. First thing I'm going to talk about is one of the coolest things, I think, which is double clicking to add effects. So it used to be in previous versions of Premiere that, let's say we want to add a fast color corrector to this clip right here on my timeline. What I would have to do was drag this down and put it on top, and as you can see, it's added my fast color corrector. Now that's a totally fine way of working, but it would be better if there was a quicker way to do it, and thankfully now all I have to do is highlight my clip and then find the effect that I want to add, my fast color corrector, double click it on it in the effects bin, and it adds it to it. So it's a much nicer way of working, and it's a lot quicker. Another one is being able to find where clips are in the bin. Now, you know that on the timeline here, if you want to know where a clip is in the bin, all you have to do is right click. You've got reveal in project here. If I click that, it'll highlight where my clip is. But what if you've got a bunch of clips here in the bin? So for instance, now I've got this clip right here, and you can see by the coloration how this is orange that I've used this video clip in my timeline. You can see if I hover over it, it'll say video used 2 times. But I don't know where in my timeline I used that clip. And you can see from my extensive timeline here that it's probably pretty easy to find. But let's say I had a timeline with a bunch of clips on there, and I wanted to find where exactly I use these clips. If I click on this, you can see right here it tells me where I use the clip. And if I click on it, it moves my CTI right there. So let's take this one. I only use this one time, so let's click on this. Oh, that happens to be right where that is. Let's try this one. See, boom, it takes it right there. So finding where you use clips from the bin is, a lot easier now. So one of the great things that I wanted to talk about was the trimming. Now everybody's been talking about the trimming and how they've got the new trim tools, which are very similar to Avid and somewhat like Final Cut. But there's some stuff in there that you may not know about. And it's stuff that you have to go to the keyboard shortcuts to find. So what I've done here is I've added some keyboard shortcuts. You can see trim in point to playhead and trim out point to playhead, and that's what I've mapped to Shift Q and Shift W. When you install Premiere right out of the box or right from the Creative Cloud, however you're installing it, those two keyboard presets are going to come unassigned. So you have to set them. I set them to these two because it's easy for me to remember. But let's watch what these things do. So I've got this interview clip here, and as you can tell at the beginning of it, are you ready?
All right, so go back to the...
We've got a little bit of dead space to it. Now, what I can do, along with the no stop playback on your timeline, I can trim the clip.
So tell me about why you attended a course. Maybe the courses you attended.
You can see that as the clip is playing along and I'm waiting for him to start his soundbite, I'm keep hitting Shift Q, and what it's doing is it's trimming everything behind the CTI. Let's say we want this to be, let's say this is the end of our clip, and all of this rest of the clip we don't need. Shift W. Boom, and it's gone. So those are a couple of keyboard shortcuts that you can add that are very, very helpful. And in addition to those, there's a couple other shortcuts that provide you with the top and tail functionality, much like you have in Avid. And I've got those mapped to, let's find them in here, should be Shift E and Shift R, there we go. And you can see ripple trim next edit to playhead, ripple trim previous edit to playhead. So we can see this in action. Close this out. Let's start playing this.
There was performance problems,
okay.
I think.
So you can see there, it trimmed up my clip. And let's do the other way.
I gotta remember what that answer was.
And you can see it got rid of everything, and past where the playhead was and pulled it up. So let's undo that. The top and tail feature is a pretty nice feature. You got to go to the keyboard shortcuts to find those, and again, if you want to see those again, for the top and tail functionality, It's right here, the ripple trim, next edit to playhead, ripple trim previous edit to playhead. You'll have to set those, and then the first ones that I showed you were down here a little bit further, and they're right here, trim in point to playhead, trim out point to playhead. One other thing too that I wanted to show you was being able to replace clips from the bin using the Alt key. Now if you use After Effects, you've been able to do this in After Effects for a long time. Let me click over here, kind of show you what I'm talking about. So I've got this clip right here, and you can see I've got this logo here, and let's say I get back from a client that they don't want that logo, they want their blue logo like I've got here. So I can replace clip from bin, and that will swap it out. But the other way to do it now is I can just simply drag this clip down. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, I'm going to drag this down, and you can see it replaces it that way as well now. And all of the properties and all of, if I had animation and keyframing on there, that would all carry over. But it's just a good, quick way of being able to replace that clip with something from the bin. So I hope those help you out as you start editing with CS6. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, a lot of stuff to make editing easier, and we'll see you next time.